Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Duke CT. How are you doing this Thursday evening? And tonight's topic is something I was going to do. I told you I'm going to talk about this subject one of these days. And honestly, I think this is a true topic that people, again, it's something that, is that, you know, as on people's mind as of late, since you see continuous like downward trend NXT has gone under for the longest time. We're talking about the WWE Performance Center, and right off the back, I love the idea of it. I love the idea of having a developmental center instead of depending on like the indies and such, which sadly WWE has really leaned on. You have a place where you have talented people who know what they're doing, and you're like, hey, you know what? A guy like say Cesaro, or a guy, or woman like say, maybe a Trish Stratus or whatever, who's being a trainer, whoever's the trainer over, the trainers of the WWE Performance Center. I love the idea of having, these, great performers in the art of wrestling, training the next up and coming stars. I think that to me is the best way to, to really help find the next stars, is to have that type of training and having these type of, young talents, and newer, flesh blood, new blood coming into into these into the wrestling world, which I think it's probably the best way to do it. The best way to really, again, to really to actually have that type of way to actually do it. Because again, you don't want to just depend on others to depend on other entities and such about how good or bad the indies are. I mean, at the end of the day, I think if you build it yourself, people will show up. Heck, you have people from the indies come there anyway, which is how NXT was boosted because of the indies and such. But I think the Performance Center has, I still think it has a lot of promise. A lot of, great stars came out there. You have, Roman Reigns. You had, Becky Lynch. You had Sasha Banks. You got like really big stars, and heck, Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks has crossover potential to other huge format and huge other me. I mean, recently, Roman was in I think was in Hobbs and Shaw, connected to the Fast and Furious movies, and you had Sasha Banks being in The Mandalorian, and of course Star Wars and such. No matter how many people online are saying it's the worst thing ever, lol. But no, I think that I think that crossover potential and all that type of stuff is good. I think they have that type of way of getting the people there who know what they're doing, but also have that charisma and that type of like, oh yeah, we might need this for the for other other stuff out there, and I think at the end of the day, that's a good thing. That's is a good thing. On the other hand, though, I when you look at the, for example, because again, I love the Performance Center and such. Let's see. I remember seeing like these stars come in. You think they'd have a huge right now. Have 8 years of this Performance Center. You'd think the main stars are helping the ratings. They would help, like, hey, a new generation to really, bolster WWE's dominance. And what do you have since that? Since 8 years, I know the pandemic has not helped in these situations, but it hasn't it hasn't let's see it hasn't performed well. They haven't really connected with the audience, which is shocking, but yet not really shocking how WWE portrays itself. It hasn't done that well, and I would love to hear people's other comments about this. By the way, I want to hear what you think. Comments. The chat room is always on lock, and if you want to call in the show, the way to do it is through the the link in the description, and then you connect to me, Dukect, with the headset and microphone. And also, if you can't do that, but you need the phone number, remember the phone number as always is 605-562-0444. Once again, the number is 605-562-0444. And the show ID connecting me, Dukect, is 92417. Once again, the show ID is 92417. So yeah. But yeah, when you look at the trying to find see. I'm looking at that. Yada yada yada. Da, 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 da. Shield. Let's see. I'm trying to find the article, and I've been trying to look for it all day. Is that Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins' ratings weren't really that good when they were they never really got a way to connect with the people and such, because they did not when they were in the main event, when they split up the Shield and everything else. They did not have a way to get high ratings. In fact, there's a lot of let's see, when you see if I can find it. Let's see, see if I can find it. I think it is. I can't find it. I can't seem to find it. But yeah, they did not do much well. They didn't do well in the ratings and such. But in fact, let's look at the ratings from Monday Night Raw, though. If I can definitely find those. Let's see. Let's see if I can find. Let's see. I just want to see if I can find it. There it is. Boom. There we are. Let's see. Da, 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 da. See if I can get it. Let's see. Think I got the thing here. Let me stop here and put this here. I mean, like I said, if the performance center was doing good, it would actually show. Look at like it's one from I think the average of raw ratings were look at this last year was 2 million viewers, and last year was that, and year before that over was 280 million and such. The ratings have gone down more and more and more, and you think I know the 3 hours has hurt this, but you would think with the performance center, with all these like younger talents being on, should have been pushed on there. I mean, it's been 8 years, and what has WWE has proven that it's not looking good. And don't get me started with the NXT stuff, which, quite honestly, NXT ratings and everything else, NXT has become a glorified indie. It's just basically a glorified indie. That's what it is. You barely see any new stars. You barely see anyone actually do any type of. Um, I'm just I'm like, why have they? It feels like when I look at NXT, I look at when I see NXT, when I look at NXT, and I'm like, what it was this whole before it was like comedy thing or like it's whatever like this that brand tough enough, but yet making it into something even more of actually a legitimate like third brand, that sort of thing. I like that. I feel that once it was a nice thing to really promote NXT. Like it felt like a truly like a true grounded type of show. And sure, you had some indie stuff, but also you've had some people who were trained and training in the performance center. And what it's become is just like if you're an indie star, if you're actually someone who's like from like successful other companies like Impact Wrestling slash TNA or New Japan, Ring of Honor, you're just like, okay, you're gonna have to stop here for a while to give the indie crowd love, and then you'll fail in the main roster because they don't really do a good enough job to promote or to like this crossover and such, which that to me is one of the main reasons why NXT has felt a fall. In fact, I'm going to say this: it's one of the main reasons why the performance center. To me, some people say not to me, but maybe others like the performance center has been a failure, and that's you could make that huge argument, and actually you could convince people of it. 8 years, and all you have is people when they're like what Bobby Lashley's up in his 40s, beginning and finally a main event shot, which should have been a couple years ago. Even then, he would have been like, in his late 40s, and such. But Keith Lee is like in his like mid to late 30s. Finn Balor is champion. He's in his 40s, I believe, late 30s or early 40s. Karrion Kross is 38. Who is their young guy? Kyle O'Reilly? They should honestly. Kyle O'Reilly should have won the title against Finn Balor. Let's be honest. He should have won that thing, and that would have been the impetus of the Adam Cole feud. It's simple stuff like that. But there is no push for that yet. Maybe Cameron Grimes, all that type of stuff. That's fine. But who is what is NXT's our performance center or everything else? What is their like? Who is that true big young star? I ask you because who is that big young star that NXT has built in? Who is their next big star? Who is their big star to really say, hey, all right, this is gonna be a big star. This is gonna be a big moment. This is our young youth movement. Who is it? Who's that? Who's that young star the Performance Center has? I don't see it. I don't. And what you see right here is you know, they look at here the ratings of Monday Night Raw. Let me see if I can get back here. Just go back here, and you see the Raw ratings, and they're getting, look at this, the lower and lower and lower. And this is, by the way, all these low ratings right here. Let's see, right around here, the pandemic, they still lost viewers. This is during the pandemic era. Um, they did not. I mean, the only time they have one gain and they go right back to the million. It's going to TNA levels, man. They're going to TNA 1.1 million, 1.82, and everything else. It's getting that dire, and and in fact, you know what? In this whole pandemic and everything else, is what NASCAR was more relevant than Monday Night Raw has been. They have been more relevant because think about that. How crazy that is, ladies and gentlemen. NASCAR got more relevance than WWE has done. And again, I don't want to sound like anti-WWE because it does seem that way right now. But I'm just pointing this stuff out. And again, where is those next big stars? I ask you, where are the next stars? If you can't find me those stars, then why are you why is this just don't lie to me and lie to and say, oh, they're coming. I'm like, where? In fact, let me just this story right here. Let's see. Let's see. I can't this stuff right here. See if I can. All right. Let's see if I can find what because again they're trying to do a because there was a story which just here it is. There's some Wrestling Inc. here. This last month, which is completely hilarious, and this shows right here is the second exactly. Here it is. Supposedly back in December, Triple H created a team to oversee a new NXT show, which will be apparently a minor league system for NXT brand. Think about that. They're basically making the NXT was supposed to be the minor leagues to Raw and SmackDown, and now they're making a minor league to the exactly. Here it is, an NXT for NXT. Right here, look at this quote right here. The idea behind this new show is try as an NXT for NXT. Oh man, I mean, wow. I mean, maybe now, maybe you know what? With NXT Evolve, which supposedly is going to be a thing, maybe they'll finally get some of these young talents, from the Performance Center a shot. But man, what was supposed to be NXT supposed to be? What was the goal of NXT was supposed to be, people? This was supposed to be the goal. Like I said, NXT for NXT. And what are they going to do? Hire more indie talents? And you know what? Say what you want about AEW, and there's a lot of things you can say, some explosive things you can say badly about that company. But you know what? I've seen more indie talent come in and maybe get even signed or even be featured in AEW Dark. In fact, AEW Dark is more NXT than NXT. You see talent from places that you don't usually see, and I like that. And now, if they're having another show, I don't know what they're going to do at NXT AEW Dark, but I think personally, I think if you use that show right to just get indie talents and putting people in that position, that your regular talents, and having the Dark to be just that people to getting exposure and signing them or not signing them or doing regular stuff, I think that would work out perfectly. It would work out perfectly. Um, it would be something of it would actually be something of something really. It showed us like, man, this could be something really good. Like you showed people talents. Then again, and NXT could have been this way. I have no idea why NXT could have been that type of open show and such. Like you're not gonna get fined, but use some of the millions of dollars in talents and such. I mean, oh gosh, this is the same company that told Deanna Perrazzo to say she's not good enough to be on television, and bam, what happened? She became one of the most best wrestlers, not just in Impact. Honestly, I think she's probably one of the best wrestlers. Impact has had. In fact, I would say one of the best. Not just best women's wrestlers Impact or anyone to have, but probably one of the best wrestlers in 2020. She's one of the best wrestlers. Deanna Perrazzo, the Versarosa, is one of the best wrestlers, young wrestlers in 2020, regardless of promotion. And WWE had her, and they didn't know what to do with her, and they just released her with that huge, big bomb releasing talent. She had a chip on her shoulder, and she hasn't disappointed yet. Once again, you ask and such like, I look and see this, the NXT of the NXT. And you have, like I said, Jerry Borash and Gabe Sapolsky, two good dudes and who know their stuff in wrestling, which is great. But I just, it doesn't matter because they have all this talent. They trying so hard to be like that WWE is trying, and the Triple H is trying to be so hard to be the NWA. And honestly, with all these just regions and everything else, and don't even start NXT UK, which has failed so badly that no one, even before the pandemic, which by the way, let me see if I can get that article. You can see it because that's true. The pandemic, even the pandemic of when you had the pandemic, it is they just can draw any audiences. Just so I can find it. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. Here we got it. Okay. It's from What Culture, but you know what? That makes it. There actually are. The point is still there. Let's see if I can get the article right here. There it is. Just this is again before the pandemic got really serious and before all this stuff happened. They still no one showed up, and this is not a newest thing. It is. It's just look at this. This is you see this stuff, man. NXT UK has, they destroy, like, they took down their UK British team, even though it was pretty much speaking out, just handled they it was on the ropes. What NXT UK was on the ropes, and then speaking out came and just dropped a nuclear bomb on it on the in the UK pro wrestling scene. But man, look at this. It was. In fact, look at this. The low turnout was actually had Finn Balor's NXT UK debut. There was no look. Think about it. This was if there was no pandemic, this could have been like the NXT crowds could have got even more. This could have been, they would have to do some like really good all that type of chicanery and everything else. And this is what it would have been. What does this tell you, people? What does this tell you about how, about how this company has, how it's just, I mean, this whole thing. I mean, what does this say, ladies and gentlemen? What does this say about how the NXT and everything? How does this say about it? What does that actually says about the um, about how this whole thing, how WWE's people look at NXT UK? What does this tell you about NXT UK? What does that tell you? And this is, again, no one actually watching and no one's caring about NXT UK. Barely anyone's watching the United States and barely people watching in the UK. What does this tell you, man? What is wrong with this whole thing? What is wrong with this? I honestly, I don't know what WWE can do here. At this point, I mean, NXT UK is just, in fact, NXT in general, it feels like they're just trying to spread everything around, but they have no foundation. And it's a shame because, like I said, looking at the Performance Center, you see the Performance Center. I mean, there's so many good ideas, so much great stuff. I'm for it, but when you look at the 8 years, over 8 years of it, and there are no new young talent. In fact, the young talents are leaving. The young talents are actually gone away. Some of them have left. I mean, you have, like I said, Deonna Purrazzo. I think Tay Conti as well. People who are going to be really big stars, I believe. In fact, Deonna Purrazzo is like right there at this point. I'm surprised that she's going to be there for Impact. Maybe I honestly think she's going to probably win the Impact, hold the Impact title for a little more, and I will not be surprised AEW picks her up. She might just do some, maybe the NWA or whatever. I would not be surprised because she's actually really good and such. I truly think that. I truly believe that. But is it a failure? I don't want to say yes, that this is it's a complete failure to shut down. No. I don't believe it is. It has a lot of rush past. WWE Performance Center is not, I don't believe it's to blame for it, though. I don't believe it is. What I do believe is that it's how it's being managed and how they're, WWE's managing its stars. You can have great stars, but if you do not manage them right, if you don't have these young talents and manage them right, they will completely, they won't completely reach their potential. And again, going to let's see, this mindset, the NXT for NXT, it's not going to fix things. It's going to exacerbate them. What I think they need to do is actually sit here and say, okay, Oh, do we need an NXT UK or anything else? Either they're gonna have to start looking to say maybe we don't need an NXT UK, or maybe don't need to have an Indian tour. Maybe we need to start building our foundations here in America, because our infrastructure here in this company, the way we can build young stars, is crumbling. It's crumbling. It's falling apart. They need to look and say, okay, what can we do to fix this issue? What can we do other than say, we'll have our own version of NXT Women's? No. More championships, more anything? No. I think the best solution for this, the best solution for all this situation about NXT is to just, like I said, to scale things back and make things like, okay, focus on the characters. Who are they? Why are they fighting? What's important? And what is the thing about NXT? What is NXT? What is it? Is it a third brand like ECW was in WWE? Is it a developmental brand? What is the goal for NXT? What is the goal for it? You can maybe have a veteran talent hold a title too, but I want I want the young people, the people who have that growth potential, people who have that connection with that crowd. If they get that opportunity, if they could get a chance to prove themselves, so from maybe from the indies and stuff, maybe from the production, performance center, and start building those talents. Let them start working up. Start, building themselves up. Build and build and build and build, and then they start winning, and they start actually getting, a following. If their characters and their, moveset gets over, or whatever, don't hinder them. Help them. Build them up. Make sure they have a connection with the, make sure if they have a connection with the audience, let them keep that connection and don't hamper them. And that's what I think they should be doing. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think it's just going to be a long, just the march to irrelevancy. I mean, it's just going to. I think NXT is slowly going to become like what 205 Live and NXT UK is going to be, just a feature for content for Peacock, and that's what it is. And with how the WWE is, handling the transfer from WWE Network to Peacock, that's going to make things even more sadder. Because honestly, I don't know about you, but I do not see the millions of people are going to actually jump in and see, like, Peacock's watchers are going to be like saying, "Oh my gosh, holy crap! I'm going to sit here and watch Finn Balor, right? Fight Adam Cole for the 50th time, or we're going to sit here. I'm going to watch, what like, see, what out of NXT is going to actually produce what they're doing right now? Is anything NXT they're producing, in fact, WWE in general, but NXT, is anyone who watches the mainstream watcher or Peacock or whatever streaming stuff, are they going to actually sit down and watch something like that? Watch something from NXT? Are they going to be like, "Oh wow, what excitement"? Who is? They had a long time to watch. They want to watch like stuff like the big time stars, the larger than life stars, and there are no larger than life stars in NXT. None whatsoever. And it's WWE's own fault that they put them in this position. And that's what it is. And until the WWE starts to realize that, until WWE starts to say, you know what, this company needs to start finding itself, screw everyone else's, and start building its own self, and start actually say, you know what, here it is. Performance Center, here we are. We're going to start build. We're going to just say, okay, what is part of the culture? What's the part of this thing? What people like, what people dislike? See what we can do with it. Let's see what we can do, especially for our developmental brand for NXT. What is going to really get people excited? What is going to actually put people to get those butts in the seats? Because if they can't, well, it's going to be more irrelevant. more more relevancy is going to be in the future. That's for our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here. Uh, we're gonna try to do more. Next week we're gonna probably do a lot more. What's the positive stuff? Maybe more entertainment news, because I think there's gonna be some more interesting entertainment stuff coming down the pipe, real soon. So I'm gonna do more entertaining and more video game stuff. Because I'm gonna stay off the WWE, AEW pro wrestling stuff for Dukect Lounge for a while, because I'm gonna be doing some entertaining stuff. So, because again, I feel like I'm just speaking into the void, or just speaking to a big old wall, because WWE won't change, and most of the fan base that is around NXT just loves the entertainment, that type of entertainment, and well, hey, I'm just speaking to the void at this point. But anyway, thanks for you watching. Thanks for being here. By the way, streaming again, and it won't be Astral Chain next tomorrow. It's gonna be Crash Bandicoot 4. About time, the Switch version. Hopefully you're gonna be joining me live this Friday evening. Thanks so much for watching. It's Duke CT. Peace and love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.